Now on Denver 7 News, heavy rain and threats of flash floods across the Front Range. Our Denver 7 weather team is tracking the latest storms.
How a product is advertised can determine who buys it. We're looking into how this may have impacted the gun industry over the years. And today won't be the first time that you've heard a story on bees. They play such a crucial role in our environment, but we will be showing you some of the health impacts you may not realize they have.
And cancellations and delays at the airport, but this time it's not the flights. Why airport workers say they're fed up with RTD.
Thank you for watching Denver 7 News at 4. I'm Micah Smith. We start off with the heavy rain in the Denver metro on this Weather Action Day. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, you've been keeping an eye on the radar. What can you tell us about the timing of all of this?
It's here, especially for the southeast part of the Denver metro area. Warnings in effect in Aurora, down in northern Douglas County, Elbert County, west central Arapahoe County, out toward DIA. This is what the storm's been doing over the last 3 hours. Here are the warnings. Out around the Bennett area, severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 4:30. Western sections of northwestern, I should say, of Elbert County, northeastern Douglas County, western Arapahoe County also under a severe thunderstorm warning, and flash flood warnings in the areas around E470 from central Aurora down to the Pinery. Flash flood warnings around the Castle Pines area. These storms are dropping 2 inches of rain in about 30 minutes time, along with some small hail, about to marble size so far that we've seen. They're moving fairly fast off to the north and east. Not nearly as severe right now in Boulder County, western sections of Broomfield County. There are some stronger cells that are up in the Greeley area, and we do have flash flood warnings effect on the East Troubleston and Cameron Peak burn scars at the moment. This is the whole area impacted. It's moving toward the northeast. Will continue to push out into lesser populated portions of western Arapahoe and Adams County, but there's a whole lot of monsoon moisture that continues to spill up from the south and west, so it's going to be a very wet evening in many locations. We're just at the very beginning of some of these warnings. Kids, I said this earlier, if you're home, mom and dad aren't there, you're back in from your first day of school or whatever, just stay mellow, it'll be okay. Keep it right here on Channel 7. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. There are no tornado warnings in effect, just a lot of dark skies, heavy rain, and some hail.
All right, Mike, we'll check back in with you in just a few minutes. The westbound lanes of I-70 and Aurora are back open after a fuel spill this morning. Aurora police say 2 semi-trucks crashed on I-70 just west of E-470 around 8:30 this morning. That caused about 1,500 gallons of fuel to leak. The interstate was closed for about 8 hours while crews cleaned up that spill. At least 2 people are hurt after an RV crashed into Winchell's Donuts in Lakewood this morning. West Metro Fire says 1 man inside was thrown across the shop when the crash happened. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. The RV driver was also hurt and taken to the hospital. Officials are assessing the building but say right now it is uninhabitable. Police have arrested a Jefferson High School student in Greeley for stabbing another student multiple times. The Greeley-Evans-Weld County School District says this happened around noon in a school hallway. The attacker ran out of the school and was taken into custody shortly afterwards. The injured student was taken to the hospital and is expected to physically recover. We'll have much more on this developing story coming up on Denver 7 News at 5. And more news out of Greeley. Greeley police are searching for the person who shot into a crowd outside of a bar over the weekend. The shooting happened Saturday night outside the Rancho El Corazon bar. Police say someone in a mask stepped out of a car and fired multiple rounds into the crowd standing outside. 2 people were shot, but are expected to survive.
It's scary because you can't even go out to have fun anymore these days. You know, you don't know what you're going to run into, and it's just gone mad these days.
Greeley police have not released a description of the suspect or the vehicle. If you have any information, give them a call. Several airport workers say their bus to DIA never showed up this morning. One tweeted this: "Amazing, the RTD cancellations just keep continuing. High percentage due to no driver available." RTD says their bus on the AT line was canceled because a driver called out and they couldn't find a replacement. That's because of the ongoing operator shortages, or people power issues as RTD calls them. Those who ride RTD say delays and cancellations are making their lives harder.
They can get frustrating, like I said, especially at the end of the day when you're trying to get home from, a 10-hour or 12-hour shift.
We're working really hard to actively recruit critical positions, including operators and mechanics and other staff that help keep us moving forward.
RTD is currently offering a $4,000 hiring bonus to new operators and drivers. And if you're a rider, keep in mind, riding RTD is free for the month of August as part of the Zero Fare for Better Air program. Starting today, Denver Elections will release the first round of funding for candidates for the 2023 municipal election. Voters approved the FAIR Campaign Fund in 2018. It uses taxpayer money to match small, individual donations given to candidates, but they have to agree to lower contribution limits and to only take money from individuals or small donor committees. The goal is to create a more level playing field for candidates.
The fund itself, it's a match, a 9-to-1 match for small donations up to $50. And so the focus there is really to make sure that candidates who have the smaller donations continue to be competitive.
Let's talk about that 9-to-1 ratio. It means for every $50 donation, candidates will get $500 from the city. Nearly $1 million will be given out in this first round to 15 candidates.
The newsfeed starts with the Taliban now marking a year since retaking the Afghan capital of Kabul. Today, supporters marching past the former U.S. embassy in Kabul. Millions of Afghans now struggling with poverty and hunger. There is new video coming in of members of Congress in Taiwan. This as tensions grow with China. The Chinese continuing to do military exercises around the island, and China now accusing the U.S. of playing politics and hurting peace in the region. Brittany Griner's defense team has filed an appeal in Russia. The U.S. and Russia have discussed a prisoner exchange, but there is no timeline for that. Griner set to serve 9 years in prison on drug charges. The debate over gun laws is as divisive as any issue in America, and federally lawmakers have been investigating if gun makers play a role in recent gun violence. Recent testimony by a former firearms executive, Ryan Bussey, is pointing out how guns are advertised. He showed this late 90s ad for Ruger rifles. It includes their motto, "Arms Makers for Responsible Citizens." And while it still remains their motto, Bussey says that Ruger removed that line from most of its advertising by 2008, and psychologists say that language matters.
So when companies advertise that their products are responsible or to be used responsibly, that at least primes the idea in our brains that we need to be responsible. And over time, that can build up into a strong attitude.
Douglas Gentile has spent more than 30 years studying the psychological effects of advertising, and he compares gun ads to tobacco ads.
In January of 1988, it was estimated $6 million worth of Camel cigarettes were sold to minors. By July of 1989, that number had risen to $476 million. What changed in that intervening 18 months? The Joe Camel ad was released, a cartoon ad. He's cool, he smokes.
The CDC estimated about 16% of teens smoked in 1989. Today, it's less than half that. And he points to changes in how smoking is portrayed on television, now highlighting the adverse side effects of cigarettes. Now, in his testimony, Bussey went on to show more photos like this one as an example of this type of marketing in the gun industry, an AR-15 style gun with Hawaiian print branding. He believes that this was used to appeal to an extremist group that wears Hawaiian shirts. Government data estimates that gun companies spend collectively $1 million a month on advertising. Gun company executives at this hearing said that all of their advertising is well within the law. Now, for many refugees trying to find success in America, well, land equals opportunity and a sense of familiarity.
When they start talking about their families, their connection to their ancestors. They remember being on a farm with their grandparents and their parents before they had to flee the country.
How one program is helping refugees expand on those farming skills and benefit the entire community.
And it's going to be a busy December 25th for Denver sports fans. What we know so far about the Nuggets' plans to play on Christmas Day. Next.